I just didn't know how. I didn't know what should I do for Private Detective, which never released. I'm not complaining. I'm not bitter.
And how many people can proudly say, I did something, whatever I wanted to do? That next time you're doing crowdfunding,
I will ask.
a common school in Delhi that you and I went to.
Oh, alias Française, is
Yes!
it?
Welcome back to Fablife360, and I'm speaking with Mr. Rajat Kapoor, and we have been chatting about his new film RK, and it's going to be in theaters very soon, May 15th, and it'll be also in different OTT platforms and select theaters. So please find out where you can see it at the earliest, and you will enjoy an experience of a different genre and a different thinking. You will be thinking the movie will not be over. I promise you, the movie will not be over when it's over.
सर एक्चुअली महबूब नहीं है
महबूब नहीं है मतलब कहाँ नहीं है
सर
महबूब
महबूब ना पिक्चर में नहीं है सर
महबूब पिक्चर में नहीं है दुकान भी है क्या
कहाँ गया भाई?
सर वही ढूंढ रहे हैं बस सर
किसको बता के गया?
बताया तो नहीं सर किसी
बिना बताए चला गया। फिल्म के नेगेटिव में है ही नहीं।
सर नेगेटिव में कोई डैमेज ही नहीं है।
ऐसे कैसे शमूर का आदमी गायब हो गया? पानी पिला यार। किसी के साथ दुश्मनी या क्या आपका किसी के ऊपर शक?
So let's go over your style of filmmaking, your passion, your inspiration to be filmmaker. You wanted to be a filmmaker since 14, 15 years of age. So how did you tell us a little bit about the process, your journey, and where you are today?
Long story, Seema.
Try to try your best.
Well, I grew up in Delhi, in a pretty middle class house. My father was a film buff. He used to watch a lot of films, and not just regular films, which he did, but also art films, which is quite surprising for a man, middle class man in Delhi, quite a printing press. But he was really a film buff. So I think I got it from him, this passion for cinema. But I was very sure by 15, 16 years of age that this is what I want to do. I just didn't know how. I didn't know what should I do, what should be my next step to get to that. And I just hung around. I didn't know what to do. I joined a theatre group in Delhi. We made around one theatre group in 83 called Chingari. We did plays in Delhi. And then when I was 24, I finally took a concrete step and went to FTII, Pune, to study filmmaking. So quite late actually to start thinking about your life. But yeah, 24 when I went there, 27 when I passed out from there. And then I assisted for 3 years. Two of the greatest filmmakers India has known, Mr. Mani Kaur and Mr. Kumar Shahani. Both great filmmakers. Unfortunately, not many people know of them. But they really made some great cinema. And I say it again and again, I've learned everything from them about cinema. So that was great apprenticeship. And then I was on my own, trying to make films. In 93, I made a short film called Tarana, which won the national award at that time. 93, my God, that's almost 30 years back, 28 years back. In 95, I made my first feature film called Private Detective, which never released. It had Nasiruddin Shah, Irfan Khan, actually.
Really?
Ali
Can you
Khan.
release it now?
No, because I don't have the rights, and people who have the rights have disappeared, so I don't know who that film belongs to. It's a pity. And that film never got released, so that was heartbreaking. And then it took me 8 years to make my next film, which was Zago Romeo in 2003. That was also crowdfunded partly, by the way. That released and it bombed. And then, but luckily, Mr. Sunil Doshi saw that film and he liked it and he said, okay, I have little money with me. Can you make a film in this much? I said, yeah. And we made mixed doubles. And by that time, things had changed a little bit in India. In 2005, multiplexes had come in. It had become a little easier for indie filmmakers like me to get a release at least, you know. So mixed doubles happened and Mithya happened soon after. And then again, Fatso happened. Then 3 years break. And then Aakho Dekhi happened. And then again 5 years till Kadak and RK. So it's the period between two films is very long for me. To raise money, still a problem. Even though I've made 8 films and I have some credential, and I made good films, I think. Uh, some of them have been successful at the box office also. Still, because I work outside the mainstream Bollywood system, it's always hard for me to get money for my next film. I'm not complaining. I'm not bitter. This is how it is, you know. And I was aware of it 30 years back that this is how it's going to be. So I'm very grateful for what I've been able to do in spite of odds, you know. When I look back and I say, okay, I made 8 films, not bad. And I made them my way. I made them exactly the way I wanted to make them without being controlled by any studio or by anybody else. So yeah, I have no regrets on that ground. And somewhere along the way, my acting career started just by chance, just a matter of luck. Somebody saw me in a play and made me an offer to act in a film and then another film and then some ad and so yeah, that happened. And that took care of a lot of things. That took care of the financial needs. Otherwise, there would be no way of even making films after a point.
And you were very visible in some of the major films, Kapoor and Sons,
Right.
Dil Chahta
Kapoor and
Hai,
yeah, yeah,
Fatso. Those are all big films that everyone remembers
that's
that
right.
role. You were like the
That's
main person in Kapoor and Sons and all these
right.
movies. And
Yeah,
Monsoon Wedding.
right, right. Yeah, so but it's been a long time. Monsoon Wedding and Dil Chahta Hai happened in the year 2000, and they were my first 2 films actually. Then Corporate was big, and Beta Fry was very big.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Those are big ones.
and then Kapoor and Sons. So yeah, some mainstream films. But even as an actor, I've worked a lot in indie films, which again, not many people have seen. So yeah, I try and balance the two.
But
But when I
everyone,
make a film, it has to be my film. It has to completely have my stamp on it. It has because that's my vision, my work, which is completely mine.
and how many people can, proudly say that I did something, whatever I wanted to do, under no
Yeah, I know,
pressures, no about,
I know,
production houses and money and all of that.
I know. Money is always a pressure, but then you learn to find ways to work within that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. We travel a lot with our plays, as you know. A few years back, we were in Israel with one of our plays, Nothing Like Ilya, and Vinay was acting in it, and I directed it. And I remember one day we were walking from the hotel to the auditorium, and I was telling Vinay, "My God, this is something that we didn't even dare dream of, you know, that one day we'll be traveling all over the world with our plays and people will come and watch them. It's been an incredible journey. We- So really, I'm very grateful for uh, whatever the universe has given us. It has it's been really a dream come true. And I feel really, Seema, I feel that I've not worked a single day of my life because when you're doing what you love doing, it's not work at all. You know, I go on the set, and for me, it's a party. It's a joy to be there. It's never been work.
It's meditation. I can understand what you're saying. I feel like that too for my work. Like it gets
Yeah,
me away from the world, from the real issues.
sure.
you know so yeah, and when you were telling me all this, so that made me think about crowdfunding. So
Hmm.
you have been working on the crowdfunding for a long time, even before crowdfunding was a thing
That's
you
right.
know
Raghu Romeo was probably the first Indian film to go that route. Yeah.
so tell
But this
us a
is
little bit.
like an act of desperation almost because when all doors are closed, you have to find some way. And if you're driven enough, if you're passionate enough about what you want to do, you will find a way. So for me, it was something like that. Okay, so nobody wants to put in money. I'll put in my money, whatever I have, and I will ask my friends to give money. And they did for Raghu Romeo. And, and even though the film made a loss, I returned all the money that I had borrowed. And again, after 15 years, I'm crowdfunding again for RKRK. And we got about 20% of our fund that way. I put in about 30-40%. And the rest of it came from, again, two independent producers from Pune, Harshita and Priyam, who are a couple. And they are the producers of the film.
Nice. Oh, wonderful. So this film is also fully crowdfunding.
Well, fully, no,
Partly.
but partly.
As you mentioned, you put in yours. But that
Right.
so this system has worked for you. That's wonderful because people believe in you, people believe in your concepts, your wisdom to make good films. And I think why anyone would do that is they want to encourage people like you to make more films
I
so
think
that
so. I
they're
think
out there.
I I think Seema, I can tell you stories of how people sent money. I mean, somebody sent 50,000 or a lakh. Many people sent 100 rupees and 500 rupees. Somebody wrote to me saying, "Sir, I was watching Aankhon Dekhi on TV with my father and my family, and I told my father this man who's made this film is wanting to crowdfund his next film." So my father said, "Okay, give him 500 from my side." And my sister-in-law said, "Okay, give him 500 from my side." So, sir, here is 2,500 rupees from five of us. And this is such a beautiful gesture, Seema, and it moves me to tears, a thing like this. And I believe that more than their money, their good wishes and their goodwill, that comes into the film.
Exactly.
And that becomes a part of the film. And if the film is good, I want to say it's good because of all these people, because of what they sent me, not money, but their beautiful feelings.
And even before you told me, I took a quick decision that next time you're doing crowdfunding,
I will ask you. I'll send you a personal mail.
yeah, I will put, I don't know what amount, of course, but I will definitely be part of this crowd.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Seema. I hope I don't have to go this route again for a few years. I hope there will be producers willing to fund my next film, but you never know.
Yeah.
I might come to you.
No, I mean, of course, everyone who has some kind of passion and commitment towards, changing the world through your camera, through your microphone. I feel like these are not just mediums that are given to you, me, just casually. They are very
Right,
serious mediums. You can make a
right,
difference to the world. Whatever you have a voice, you can say and reach people that you might not reach and change somebody's mind and thinking. And this is very fortunate, and that's why you came in filmmaking, because you wanted to change the world, but through the films, through your thinking.
right.
So
Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
so we have to do whatever our part, our bit, to have more people do such work, because of
On
course
a on a
entertainment
side
is,
note, Seema, have you seen Aankhon Dekhi?
you know since I've been looking at all your work, and I was like, this, how is this aankho dekhi not past my aankhein?
Please watch it. I would really request you to watch it. I think you will like it.
Okay, sure. So everybody, let's all watch aankho dekhi. Where is it available?
Well, in India, it's there on Netflix and Amazon and Hotstar. It's everywhere. I
Okay.
don't know where it is in the US.
So it
You'll
must be
find
in
it.
that. It must be here also in one of these
Must
platforms.
be one of these for sure, for sure.
Yeah, because you
If
got your
you,
film fair on for Aankho Dekhi.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so it must be like an incredible film, and and I want to talk to you a little bit about touch base on. Do you think content is a king?
Where?
Like everywhere, content. You and me are creating content right now.
He's the
Content that
king
you
for
guys
us.
create, content that anyone creates. Is it still the king, or we have other factors in last 5-10 years in the digital world have come in and taken over a little bit?
You know, people have been saying this content is the king. It's become a catchphrase, but it's a meaningless phrase because it's not the truth. It's not the truth.
See?
People say that things have changed, but they haven't changed really. I mean, the very proof of the thing is in front of you, me. That I'm still struggling to make films. I'm still struggling to find a release for my films. It's not been easy. The system, at least in India, is the same. It's the same Bollywood hype and the star-driven films and a similar kind of films that do well, that people watch. Even the OTT platforms prefer them. So, things haven't really changed that much. I don't think so.
Things haven't changed. And how do you think independent cinema has evolved over the years? What do you think that are we there? Are we still not there? I mean, and the challenges. One good thing is at least nobody calls them art films.
Right, right. They call indie films. They were called parallel films. You might have
Yeah.
different names for them, but it still means that you're on the margins of Bollywood. And that is the bottom line. Things have changed in the sense that there is a new crop of filmmakers who are very passionate. Uh, but it is still an individualized effort. It is, I would say, like 15, 20, 30 people in India who are really passionate about this kind of filmmaking. And they put their heart and soul in it. But I don't know if you've made a film or a number of films that will really impact the world. Maybe we will in the next 5 years, but not yet. I don't think so.
When we say impact the world, it doesn't mean we are just impacting millions of people and changing the climate and changing religions and changing people's mindsets in that
No,
way.
I'll give you an example. I met a Iranian French filmmaker a few years back, and I was asking him how many films does Iran make in a year, and you'll be surprised to hear the answer. He said 18 films,
What?
18 films a year,
One
and
eight.
look at those films. One
One
eight.
eight.
Yes, but look at those films. Out of those 18 films, at least 8 are world-class films. They make phenomenal films. How? We make 1,800 films every year. And every year, you can't even remember 5 films that you would say are good films or great films. Not even 5, Seema. So, that's what I'm talking about. Out of 1,800 films we make 5 or 10 good films in a year. That's it. I mean, really. It's quite a shame, actually.
It's quite a shame, yes. But I mean, I would also say this way, like what the independent films do to me when I watch a real cinema, real story, it takes me to the world that I would have never gone and understood myself.
Right, right.
That's
That's what all good art does. When you read a great book or when you uh, watch a great film or piece of theater, or listen to great music from another culture, it takes you somewhere else. I mean, you can dive into a book and completely lose yourself and be exposed to a culture and a society and a character and his life that you would never have lived. But through the book, you have lived that. So that's what art does. It opens you up to possibilities. It opens you up to other universe.
right. See, books people are used to of reading all kinds with what you
Right.
just mentioned. But with cinema,
Hmm.
with films, people have this concept of entertainment factor with it. That okay, we are taking it, we need to be entertained. And that's okay too. Everyone wants to be entertained, but we need to
That's
see
that's why that's why I said this is what art does. We're talking about art. We're not talking about entertainment only.
entertainment. And
Yeah.
somebody mentioned to me, and I never forgot that. And it's really, I talked to a lot of people about that. They says, well, I didn't really like the movie. I didn't relate to the characters. I was like, why do you have to relate to every character that you see? You know yourself. You
Right.
know the character. Understand somebody else.
Right. Correct. Correct. But yeah, that's the thing about cinema. It's very funny because you watch it through identification. So I understand what this person is saying. I didn't
Hmm.
relate to the character, so I could not get into the shoes of that character, so I could not feel what I was supposed to feel. And the film did not take me on the journey of emotion. That's what this person is trying to say, I think.
Yeah, no, I understand that too. But what I meant was that shouldn't be a criteria for you to like or not like a film and not enjoy
I,
it and give it a piece of
I
your heart.
completely agree with you. Because even if you can't relate to the character, you can look at something else. You can look at the visuals. Because also, this understanding of cinema is limited. which says that I will go through the character. Because cinema does more than that. I mean, of course, it does that also, but it's also visual storytelling. It tells you a story through camera, through lensing, through production design, through colors, through lighting, you know. And all of this, these are emotional things. It's not just technical things. Because a certain kind of lighting can create a certain kind of emotion in you. But one has to be educated to enjoy that, you know. One has to get educated in cinema and film watching, I believe, you know. Like any art, I
Any
can't
art.
enjoy, for example, Western classical music if I'm not been exposed to it, or Carnatic music or Hindustani classical music if I'm not exposed to it. You need a certain training of listening. वो हमारे कहते हैं ना कि तानसेन नहीं बने तो कानसेन तो बन गए कम से कम सुनना तो सीखिए
Yeah.
you know.
And I think audiences are warming up to independent cinema now quite a bit. Especially, definitely I can vouch for the US because of the film
Right,
festivals.
right, right. Slowly, it's a long process. Hopefully, things will change
I
in
mean,
30 years.
I have seen it when Indie Meme Film Festival here in Austin, when they started in, say, 2014. No, actually, this is 6 years. So the first movie was Girl Rising
Hmm.
that they showed. And then after that, Gulabo, and every few months there was a movie. They get sold out. People look forward to it. They did virtual film festivals for 2 years. Okay, people miss their interaction theater, but the story still remains. The idea,
Right,
everything else that an independent cinema, they were all full. They had an extremely successful
right.
2 years,
You
even
know,
with
so
virtual.
film festivals play a very important part in educating people.
Hmm.
Like in the 70s and 80s, we had a whole movement of film societies in India. You know,
Hmm.
every city had many, many film societies. You became members of society and you were exposed to world cinema. So that is the long process of education I'm talking about. You know. And film
Yeah.
festivals do a very important part in that.
Yeah. No, I owe it to film festivals because I wouldn't have watched some fabulous films over the years that I watched in Dallas Film Festival in Austin, even in New York.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was wonderful speaking with you. And before we kind of say our byes, I do have a couple of quick questions, like not rapid fire, but I want people to get to know your personal side also. And one is that I love this question. I ask a lot,
Hmm.
and this question helps me personally whenever I need inspiration. Is what would you tell to your younger self?
How much younger? When I was
When you were
20 or
starting
30?
out, younger means not like 15, maybe when, right when your career is, when you're making your decisions, 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, like that. Or, when you make some decisions, maybe influenced by other people, and your learning was, oh, okay, I should have just stuck to myself. Things like that.
I would say, Rajat, there's lots of time.
Mm.
Life is long. We'll all come to you. Don't worry.
Mm. Excellent. Don't rush things.
Don't rest.
And how do you like to chill?
Well, spend time with the family, with my kids, with my wife. We had a lot of time last year during the lockdown,
Yeah.
and again we are in a lockdown. So yeah, being at home, listening to music, being with friends when you can. We throw a lot of parties at home.
Uh-huh.
A lot of our friends come over, and when there was no COVID, now of course things are different. I read and I write. I write a lot. I'm always working on the next script.
Yeah.
For me, that's also chill time. Yeah.
That's a chill time. And we talked about that, right?
Yeah. Right.
It's interesting, like when I interviewed Nita Lula, I asked her, what do you do to chill? She says, I draw.
All right. Of course. Yes.
So it's interesting how we in the creative fields, people find that so relaxing and chilling. I love hearing that when people say that.
Yeah.
And one question is interesting. That's actually more fun than it is. So there is a common school in Delhi that you and I went to. Now you have to answer
Get
that.
out of here.
You
Get
have to
out
give
of
a
here.
guess. You
What
don't know
school did
my
you go to?
history. but you have to give a guess.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can do it.
You're from Delhi,
Mm-hmm.
and you went to the same school that I did.
One of the schools that you went to.
No,
Yes.
no.
Let's find out in just a second. I'll give you a
Which
hint.
one is it?
It's not a full school. It's like an evening school. You go for an hour.
No, I never went to. Oh, Alliance Française.
Yes.
Is it? Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. It was at Alliance Française where when I went to learn French. That's where I discovered theater. Because in the basement there, they had a place called Théâtre de Poche, which means pocket theater. And I went down into the basement, seeing what are these guys doing. And I stayed for the rehearsal, and that's how I got hooked to theater. So it's all thanks to Alliance Française.
That's why I wanted to bring it up.
In South X, huh?
South X, because I read it up and I was like, oh my goodness.
You know what? Last lockdown, I started learning French again after
is it?
so many years. Yeah,
Yeah,
online.
it comes back. I studied for 3 years.
Does. Oh, really?
3 years, yeah.
Wow.
It's not like I went quite advanced. I mean, I can speak, but I can nothing understand even now. And if I'm in Paris, I can manage. Quickly, I'll look in the translations and I can manage something.
Oh, good.
So that's a great laugh to end the show with. And again, everybody, please definitely check out the movie RK versus RK. You would surely enjoy the effervescent and the enchanting experience of the whole film, and has how characters keep going back and forth. And then in between, you'll see, this gorgeous Madhubala version, Malaika Sharawat in a completely different avatar. And then, of course, I don't want to say anything more about the ending, but interesting things keeps happening. I would say it's not an action movie, but there's not a dull moment. You don't want to miss any dialogue.
मैंने एक पिक्चर बनाई है
मैं कुछ हो गया तो
मेरा नसीब मेरी मुट्ठी में
रात 10:30 बजे
मैं कुछ हो गया
महबूब कहाँ है?
You know the film that Papa was making, na? So one of the characters in that film has gone missing.
मैं नहीं हूँ
That's right. 14th of May, it releases in limited screens in the US. Find out where it's playing, and please go and watch it. It'll make us very happy. We're sharing our film with the world now. It's the first time released anywhere, and it's starting with the US. Please go and watch it.
And Ari, can they give you feedback on your social media handles, and tell us where they can reach you online?
There is Outsider Pictures who's releasing the film.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be the best people they're on Insta and Twitter.
Outsiders Pictures, okay?
Yeah.
And your social media handles?
I don't have social media anymore. I'm not on any social media.
Any of them? Even Facebook, LinkedIn?
Even Facebook, nothing.
Alrighty. That's good. That keeps you focused on your work.
Yeah. It was a pleasure talking to you, Seema.
Yeah, me too.
Really pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. So all the very best, and let's touch base again. Thank you so much.
And if you can, go and watch the film, you too. And watch Aankho Dekhi, okay?
Aankho Dekhi is my homework today. I'll reply you back. What an ensemble of heart and wisdom. Hope you enjoyed my conversation with this thinking and intelligent filmmaker, Mr. Rajat Kapoor. His passion, compassion, and commitment to filmmaking is evident in his films. Filmmaking is an art and a science in itself, and it's a filmmaker's job to bring it out seamlessly for us. And Rajat Kapoor has done that every single time. Hope you enjoyed this film also, his new film RK vs. RK that we talked about, releasing May 15th on theaters and different platforms. And this episode is brought to you by new cryptocurrency, Etherlight. For more information, please email etherlight@ruckusavenue.com. This is Seema Govil signing off for today. Please follow me on Fablife360 Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook page. And now I'm also on Clubhouse under my name, Seema Govil. And I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week.